Welcome. We will start live on our Facebook page. In just a second, just give me a few moments so that I can connect Zoom with the Facebook page. Okay? Just a few seconds. Okay. So we are now live. And I would like to welcome everyone who is with us on Facebook Live. Welcome all spiritual seekers, welcome all practitioners of Bhakti Yoga, all friends, all well-wishers, all intelligent and thoughtful people. So today we have a very long coming topic, and this is the topic about the emotions, about intense emotions which most of us are experiencing. Some of us are experiencing such emotions like on daily basis, and for some it is on certain occasions. But emotions are actually extremely important part of our life. Why? Because emotions are so real for us, and we as human beings, we are emotional by nature. And when we feel some emotions, then we feel alive, and then we really take them very, very seriously. And often we also become very confused because of these emotions. So what I want to do today, I want to shed some light on the source of our emotions, or the reasons for our intense emotions, from the ancient Vedic literature, especially Bhagavad-Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. And from this very, very deep philosophical understanding, we can actually get a strength and a direction to change some things in our life, also as far as our emotions are concerned. So first we will look at what is the source of our intense emotions, and then we will look at what can we do about it if we are not so happy by experiencing intense, especially intense negative emotions. So what can we do about it to change it in a positive way? So I will start first by reading a text from Bhagavad Gita as it is. This is a text from the chapter 18. And it's very interesting text. It's a short text, and I will read also the purport, and then I will also read from also from Srimad Bhagavatam, and tell you some stories, and then we will go even deeper. So this is Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, and text number 27. We will just read the translation. The worker who is attached to work and the fruits of work, desiring to enjoy those fruits, and who is greedy, always envious, impure, and moved by joy and sorrow, is said to be in the mode of passion. And the commentary, the purport: a person is too much attached to a certain kind of work, or to the result because he has too much attachment for materialism or hearth and home, wife and children. Such a person has no desire for higher elevation in life. He is simply concerned with making this world as materially comfortable as possible. He is generally very greedy, and he thinks that anything attained by him is permanent and never to be lost. Such a person is envious of others and prepared to do anything wrong for sense gratification. Therefore, such a person is unclean, and he does not care whether his earning is pure or impure. He is very happy if his work is successful, and very much distressed when his work is not successful. Such is the worker in the mode of passion. So, perhaps you could recognize some of these symptoms from, somebody you know, or maybe in yourself. But this actually was a very, very good and very vivid description of a person who has a nature which is conducted predominantly by the influence of an invisible force of material nature, which is called the mode of passion. And I will try to speak something more about it. Actually, I will go much more in depth and also in much more also in length, like in a broader way. I will explain. So I hope that you will get some satisfactory answers to your questions of where does this intense emotion come from, like that you may be experiencing even at this moment. So I'll just say the invocation to invoke the blessings of my spiritual teachers. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances to my spiritual teachers who have opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge while I was blinded by the darkness of ignorance. So, as far as emotions, I would like to start with explaining that actually we can experience intense emotions of two different kinds. There can be intense spiritual emotions, and there can be intense material emotions. And the very, very interesting thing is that the central point of the intensity of both spiritual and material emotions is the attachment. We can see here in this commentary, it is very, very clearly stated that a person is too attached. He's too attached to so many things, right? He's too attached to his work, he's too attached to his home, to his family, to so many things in his life. He's attached. And this strong, strong attachment in the material life causes strong, strong material emotions. But on the other side, if one has strong spiritual attachment, if one is very strongly attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to Krishna or Lord Narayan or any of the forms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then this is also the central point of the strong spiritual emotions. And another thing is, which is very, very interesting, that spiritual emotions and material emotions are actually, we could say, almost excluding one another. In what sense is this? This we can see if a person is progressing in spiritual life. Like when we start with the spiritual practice, we are so much engrossed still in the material forces, the three modes of material nature, these three invisible forces of goodness, passion, and ignorance. So particularly, we are especially influenced by the modes of ignorance and passion. And these are the modes that cause the strongest material attachments, and from these come very strong material emotions. So when we start with our spiritual path and our spiritual practice, we are still very much under the influence of these lower modes of nature. But gradually, as we progress in our spiritual life, we become more and more under the influence of the mode of goodness. And guess what happens? To our greatest surprise, we discover that those strong, intense material emotions start subsiding. They become more and more mild, more and more gentle, and they are practically disappearing. Not completely, totally, but they're just becoming so mild and mild and mild. And actually, the strongest emotions in the mode of goodness are like very positive emotions, are emotions of gratitude, emotions of compassion, of kindness. So these are the emotions that are strong. But those other emotions that were so prominent before, they just evaporate. How is this possible? And a person actually in the mode of goodness, as far as these material emotions are concerned, he experiences very much of, we could say, a kind of neutrality, like becomes very much neutral. He doesn't really experience such strong material emotions because he doesn't have such strong material attachments anymore. He is quite detached materially. But then, after that, after a person has developed predominantly the mode of goodness, and if he is practicing spiritual life, particularly I'm speaking about Bhakti Yoga, in which we cultivate personal loving relationship to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, and his other forms, then the spiritual emotions start becoming more prominent, more and more. So from that point of goodness on the material level, these emotions start coming more. And as person is progressing still further in spiritual life, and it's coming to the level of Shuddha Sattva, or pure spiritual goodness, transcendental goodness, then these spiritual emotions really take over. And they become very, very intense. Of course, the predominating basis of all these spiritual emotions is bliss, ecstasy. But they have different varieties, different tastes. So even there can be like a horror or like fear or anxiety, but it's all spiritual. It's all connected with the supreme object of spiritual love. And it's all blissful, ecstatic. So, in short, I wanted to just give you this a little bit of vision of how we can actually change our experience of the emotions from material to spiritual with our progress on spiritual path. But now let's go back to where we are at present, because at present we are still so much engrossed in the material life, in the material energy, and therefore we are experiencing so many material emotions. And here I would like to explain, actually I would like to tell you a story. It's a beautiful story and very instructive story. And this is a story about Bhrigu Muni, who wanted to test three predominating deities in this material universe to see who is the most elevated, actually, yes, most elevated. So he went first to test his father, and his father was Lord Brahma. So Lord Brahma is a very special living entity. He is the secondary creator of this universe, and he's the first living entity in the universe, and he is also the original spiritual teacher of the Brahma Sampradaya, so the bona fide spiritual teacher, authentic spiritual teacher. So he's a very, very elevated personality. However, he has a very special role also, which he has to play within this universe. He has to create. So he creates different planetary systems, and he also creates different living entities. So for this creative power, he is infused with the mode of passion. So what was the experience that Bhrigu Muni had with his father, Lord Brahma? When Bhrigu Muni came to Lord Brahma, he actually offended him. He offended him by not showing any respect. He didn't respect him by, showing with his body any respect or offering any kind words or prayers to praise him. Which is like the polite way to express the appreciation and respect to a very superior personality. So he just came and he didn't show any respect. So this was actually considered as an offense in the mind. And what happened? How did Lord Brahma react to this? Lord Brahma became angry. He became very, very angry, very, very angry. But he was actually able to control this anger. So although, you could see, Bhrigu Muni could see on his face that Lord Brahma was very angry, Lord Brahma controlled himself, and he didn't even say anything. He didn't say anything, he didn't chastise him, nothing. He just controlled it. And then, but Bhrigu Muni, by this, he could see that Brahma, he has, he is really not on the highest platform. Let me go to another personality. And then he went to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is also extremely exalted personality. He's also known by the name Mahadev. He is, many people worship him as God. Although he is a demigod, he is not the supreme personality of Godhead. However, he is also not living entity as we are. He is a special kind of a living being who is in between the supreme personality of Godhead and the living entities as we are. He has his own tattva, we say, like his own category, which is Shiva tattva. So he's very powerful, very special personality, very empowered. And actually his specific role in this universe is that he is empowered to destroy the universe. When it comes the time for the universal destruction, he starts his dance of destruction. And then, the whole destruction starts of the universe. So Bhrigu Muni is actually his brother. And when he came to Lord Shiva, he started with another offense. This time his offense was vocal offense, like with words. When Lord Shiva came closer to him and wanted to embrace him, because they have not seen each other for a while, Bhrigu Muni said, no, just stop, Lord Shiva, just stop. Don't come close, don't touch me, because you are dirty. Because you always go to these crematoriums where they burn the dead bodies, and you're always associated with dirty people like ghosts and goblins. You know, I really don't want you to touch me, so just stop, don't touch me. And of course, these were very bad words, offensive words. And when Lord Shiva heard this, he became very, very angry. He actually became so angry that he wanted to kill him. And Bhrigu Muni was in great danger. And he already thought, oh no, that's it for me, you know, now I'm gonna get killed. But fortunately, there was Parvati, or Durga Devi, the wife of Lord Shiva, and she just threw herself on the floor in front of Lord Shiva, and she begged him with very sweet words to please be pacified. So she was able to pacify him, to give up this anger and save Bhrigu Muni's life. So at this point, Bhrigu Muni understood that Lord Shiva, he actually is also not on the highest platform. And we could actually see now that he, as a deity who is in charge, has this role of distracting the universe, he is very much in contact with the mode of ignorance, which also causes very intense emotions. And with these intense emotions, it also causes very intense activity, like acting upon these strong emotions, especially negative. We could see there was like violence almost transpired. So, and then Bhrigu Muni went to Lord Vishnu. And Lord Vishnu, he was lying peacefully on his bed of Sheshanaga, and the goddess of fortune was massaging his lotus feet. And when Bhrigu Muni came, he committed the worst offense. He came and he kicked Lord Vishnu in his chest. So, corporal offense. This is very serious. So what did Lord Vishnu do? Lord Vishnu did not become angry at all. But he actually became sorry. So he got up from his couch, from his seat, and very, very humbly he came in front of Bhrigu Muni and he begged forgiveness. My dear great sage, please forgive me that my chest is so hard, so that you hurt your soft lotus foot. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Please tell me, what can I do for you? How can I repay? What can I do, you know, to satisfy you, so that you will not go away from here unsatisfied? So by this, he demonstrated the pure behavior and also emotion of the mode of goodness. Of course, Lord Vishnu is situated in pure goodness, Shuddha Sattva, which has nothing to do with material emotions. So he's completely always situated in pure spiritual emotions. So he wasn't touched by any kind of anger or agitation because of this offense of Bhrigu Muni. So Bhrigu Muni could now realize who was actually on the highest platform. Undoubtedly, this was Lord Vishnu. He could also understand that Lord Brahma was affected by the mode of passion, and that Lord Shiva was affected by the mode of ignorance. So here we can actually see this story is actually very, very clear in showing us that our emotions and our reactions are not so much the manifestation, or yes, the manifestation of the situation in our life, but they actually depend on our nature, on how on the state of our consciousness. Because we can see that there was like the progressively stronger irritation or provocation, you could say, by Bhrigu Muni. But the reaction was not proportional from these three deities. The strongest reaction came from Lord Shiva, who was affected by the mode of ignorance. Lord Brahma also experienced very intense emotion of anger, but of course he was able to control it because he's a very elevated personality. But Lord Vishnu, he didn't actually experience this material emotion at all. So this is something for us actually to also learn. When we are experiencing very intense emotions, we can actually ask ourselves a question. So I have to first give also some disclaimer here. Please do not understand me wrong when I speak about these emotions from the sacred books in such a way. I don't try to minimize the emotions that you are experiencing, that we are experiencing. I understand myself perfectly well that these emotions, when we are experiencing them, are very real and very strong, and they affect us very much. However, when we purify our intelligence with this deeper philosophical understanding, we actually rise above the level of the mind, and we actually gain the power to start controlling these emotions. We actually get some ability, some power, yes, to control these emotions, at least to a certain degree, not to be totally, carried away by them. And this is actually very, very helpful. This is actually something that can practically help us in our life. So when we study about the nature of these emotions, the reason why these emotions are coming from, the source of the emotions, then we can understand actually with our intelligence what we can do to change the way we actually experience this world, and also the way we react to this world. It is within our power, because we are actually the soul, which has nothing to do really with this world, except for because we are within this material body, subtle and gross material body, which is interacting with the material energy, and which is already constituted of material energy. So we as a soul are aloof from this material energy. And we can only realize this by really strengthening our intelligence and our understanding, and then doing some practical activities which help us to come to this realization. So now I will give some practical steps for this. So one very important point here is that we so now I want to actually I have to conclude first the first point. What is the source of our strong emotions? So I mentioned that the central point of strong emotions is the attachment. So when we are very much under the influence of the material energy, especially the modes of ignorance and passion, then we experience very strong material attachments. And really, there is very little we can do about it. As long as we are so strongly under the influence of these modes. The way out, actually, of these strong material attachments and being like, we are like little puppets, actually, being, you know, you know, the puppet show, how on the strings, there are little puppets on the strings, and as the strings are pulled, so the little puppets are being moved. So this is how we are moved by these modes of material nature when we are very strongly influenced by them. So the real way how we can change this is to rise our consciousness, to purify our existence from the lower modes of material nature, to purify our existence from the modes of passion and ignorance. And then when we do this, this is something very tangible. You can have this very tangible experience in your life, and I'm actually trying to encourage you, and I would like to challenge you to do something, to make an experiment in your life, and to get your personal experience and realization. And you know, it is not necessary that you have to just practice for months and years and decades to get some little of experience. No, you can get a tangible experience already in one day if you do some very important steps in this day. So, in order to cultivate the mode of goodness in our life, the first most important thing is that we get up really early. And this really early means before sunrise. Actually, preferably like 2 hours, about at least 2 hours before sunrise. This is the good time to wake up. And then after waking up, it's important to cleanse the body, like take a shower, dress yourself in very clean clothes. And then there is a time to purify the mind, your subtle body. Purify your mind and your consciousness by meditating on the sacred mantra. So we in Bhakti Yoga, we are meditating on the Hare Krishna mantra. And this is very important. If you do this, I guarantee you, you will have a very amazing experience in your life. If you do this, preferably you do it in the early morning, start before sunrise. And if you chant this sacred Hare Krishna mantra for, let's say, at least half an hour, if you can do more, 1 hour, or if you can do even more, like 2 hours, wow, then you will really have amazing experience on that particular day. So when you do this, you will literally wash away the influence of the mode of passion and ignorance. And after that, if you sit down and then you also read from this transcendental literature as Bhagavad-Gita as it is, and Srimad Bhagavatam, nectar of instruction, nectar of devotion, Chaitanya Charitamrita, when you read from this literature, then you will also purify your intelligence from these lower modes of material nature, which will actually help you to see things in proper perspective, to actually get the clarity about life, about yourself, about the world around you. You will start to see things in the proper perspective as they really are from the mode of goodness point of view. So when you do all this, just do all this, and then you can go out in the world, and then you can just do the normal activities that you normally do. And then you observe yourself. Observe how you experience different things that happen to you, and observe yourself how you react. And what I want you to do, I want you to then comment. Comment here to this video, what was your experience? Or next week I will ask any of you who were listening to tell me what was your experience. So I'm challenging you to do this experiment one day this week, and then tell me what did you realize. So this is something that I wanted to share with you today. Let's see now if we have, I can find, okay. If there is any question, perhaps, let's see. Oh, yeah, the connection is a little bit troublesome here. Oh, great. Oh, Yaritza, wonderful. So I see your comment, Yaritza. Yes, you wrote that it really works, and after some time the concrete results come. Great, Yaritza. I'm very, very happy for your comment, for your testimony, because we need testimonies. Other people who don't, who don't have this realization, who don't have this experience, they need testimonies for people who actually have done this practice. And this is actually the way how we can become free from these intense, unpleasant, material emotions. And we can actually purify them and experience more positive material emotions. And also, in due course of time, we will be able to start experiencing spiritual emotions more and more and more. So I would like to end here. Thank you very much, everybody who was live, and everybody who will still watch this video. I want to thank you all, and I'm waiting for your comments. Please write down your experiences and your realizations. So, Hare Krishna.